Hello everybody, it's Elena. I made my second fabric book, and this one is very different from the first one I made in October, which was Halloween themed. And this fabric book I'm going to show is angel themed, and it is a gift for a dear friend of mine who likes angels and all the frilly girly things that can go in a project. I also was lucky enough to be able to add some genuine vintage elements because my husband is helping a friend to get rid of all the old stuff in her late granny's house, and my husband kept what he knows I need for crafting, which were trims and laces and tablecloth, table runners. So here is the fabric book. It's quite chunky, and I won't go through every single details, otherwise it would be really extra boring, but I will focus especially on some details I find interesting. Also, I want to thank all the fine crafters out there who made videos showing their fabric books. I was especially impressed by all the beautiful elements Margaret, whose channel is Mrs. 7, adds to her fabric books. And I took the opportunity to give it a try to handmade flowers and dangles and charms, and I had real fun making it, although it was quite challenging because it is the first fabric book in this style I make. Every page is made of felt, and it's covered with the same white old cloth, and I added some different lace on each page too. This first one has the image of an angel. It's a cute angel girl. I framed it with this frame I slightly smudged with gold acrylic paint. And the page is covered with this beautiful white lace, and then I added some gathered trim. I gathered this one, and I lined the top with this white trim that goes all around the first and the last page, and at the bottom I put this dangle trim I lightly avocado dyed, and this scallop trim. They too go all the way from the first to the last page. I added some appliques I avocado dyed and pearls and various embellishments, and then I made my first chiffon flower. The chiffon is vintage, it's a light peach, and I managed to make this at the 5th attempt, I think. I have to practice. And I also made this flower using an elasticated gala ribbon, which is perfect for edging and for making flowers too. And here is some vintage lace. I edged the page, doubling up this one that lines the second page. I doubled it up and edged this page. All the crochet pieces included in this book are made by me, because I've been crocheting for 40 years now, and I find this hobby really relaxing, so I make a lot of doilies. I cut up one here, I gathered it and fastened it with a bling, a beautiful flower center. The second page is a pocket page, and it's the first of the 3 pocket pages. I made 3 of them because I want to put many little gifts inside the book. The lace I put on the page is an embroidered vintage one, and the page is made of a vintage ruffled material, to which I added some appliques and I lined part of them with a bead trim. I added 2 vintage appliques in the corners and some vintage glass pearls and small flowers. There's the key, and another vintage detail is the trim here I cut from a table runner. Then there are more appliques, pearls, flowers and trims, and the vintage one here I shown before. I put this white trim and with colored beads in the center. And here is the 3rd page. I printed the image of an angel boy, and I just added some glitter to his wings. I framed it with this trims I gathered and some pearls and beads, and I used this vintage thin lace. Unfortunately, it was quite a long piece, but I could save just this piece, this small piece that goes all around, because the rest of the trim was very deteriorated. And the page is covered with some sort of tulle that comes from a garment this friend gave to me to dismantle. On the top I added 2 more vintage appliques and 4 beautiful ribbon flowers, a teardrop pearl and some lace, some trim at the bottom, and here again I put the vintage trim here and on the top of the page. And then another pocket page. The page is also covered with the vintage embroidered lace I used also in the 2nd page, and I made a pocket out of a piece of another piece of cloth my friend gave me to dismantle. It's lace, actually it's not vintage, but it's a beautiful textured lace, and I added some appliques to it, on which I put some pearls and this trim, this beautiful flower center, little ribbon bows, and this gorgeous golden thin beads. This applique I cut from a beautiful length of trim. I slightly avocado dyed it, and the image this time, it's a couple of lovely angels kissing, comes out of the pocket, and I framed it with this beautiful trim. I added flat back pearls and pearls here, beads, and 2 butterflies. I avocado dyed one of them, the other I left as it was, white. I added some pearls again, and here, and tiny metal embellishments. They are bead cups, yes. I dismantled from a piece of jewelry I had. In the center I put this lovely iridescent trim. And then this is not made by me, it's not vintage, it's a piece of crochet trim I bought, and this one is the beautiful gathered trim. This page has the image of 2 angel girls, And here I tried my first dangle with pearls on the on-seam binding and ribbon, and again the same, another piece of the beautiful iridescent trim, to which I added some light lavender ribbon. I made this little bow using some, oh my, I just said the word, using some ribbon, and I added this gorgeous flower center. This page is a doily page, okay, and the avocado dyed this doily, I dismantled and put a piece here and here. This is another one I made with this kind of this color of thread, and this is underneath, I don't know if you can see it, underneath here, and here is another piece of vintage lace I cut from the table runner, and I used 2 pieces of this gorgeous trim here and here, add pearls, and this gorgeous golden loop trim, and many elements of the book come from the gold kit I bought from Fiona. And actually, when I bought the kit, I was thinking about including them in a fabric book. Then I avocado dyed this one, this trim I added on the side, and this piece is a vintage crochet piece. I had to bleach it because it was really stained, and luckily it turned out white, as it should be. This is another pocket page. The pocket is made out of another piece of vintage crochet, and I bleached this one too because it was stained. It's covered again with the same tulle coming from my friend's garment. I added some appliques on the top, in the center, and some pearls, 3 rosettes here with flat back pearls, this beautiful trim I avocado dyed at the bottom, and another one with dangles here, a cluster of flowers, and I gathered this is the vintage chiffon. I made 3 dangles with pearls, and I added a wonderful flower, in the corner. Again, I used this wonderful white ruffle trims with colored beads, and a piece of Chinese braid, iridescent Chinese braid here. On this page I put again the vintage embroidered lace and the image of a baby angel. I arranged some eyelet trim to form a sort of a curtain as a cradle. I think it's the name of the how could I say, of the bed for babies to sleep. I think it's cradle. Well, I'm sorry if sometimes I don't know the words. And I added some beautiful baby's breath. They were in the gold kit too. And a flower, a rose. I gathered some lace here in the corner, put this one and this one underneath. And then I made a flower using a trim I lightly avocado dyed, and this is the vintage ruffled material I used for pocket. I added a gardenia, a teardrop pearl, and I put here a strand of pearls, and they are glass vintage pearls. And then I added this eyelet trim in the corner, this beautiful bow I found on the package of a gift I received for Christmas. And I made a charm dangle here. Let me show it closely. Okay, so I used two chains, two small pieces of chain. I added this charm in the shape of wings, then a little rattle I think is the correct name, and a ladybug which brings luck. Here's a heart and a key. And I edged the side and the top of the page with this trim. And here there are many elements coming from the gold kit. This lace, this trim too comes from the gold kit. And finally we have the last page. I lined it with this, just a tiny edging trim, and I kept it very simple, adding just a piece of lace, a piece of trim, a dangle trim, and I added just an oval little pearl at the end, sorry for the glue strings, at the end of each dangle, then flat back pearls, and this is the same lace I put on the first page, and just an applique, a flower applique, and a wonderful bling in the center, and that's it. For the spine I used a gorgeous double-edged guipure trim in a light cream color, and I added this wonderful rosette strips. And I finished it with a piece of a trim and the teardrop pearl. Then, since the book is quite chunky, I put two flat back pearls, one here and one here, and I fastened it with some seam binding, so it's more neat. Okay, and this is the book. I hope you like it, and thank you very much for watching.